What is up, everyone? Welcome to round 2 of the War of the Roses 2025 Old School Tournament. We got some rad decks to show you, so let's get in those deck lists. First up, we have Ciao with Monoblue Stasis. Now, I'm going to admit, this is the first time I've actually seen this list played out, so while I am familiar with the pre-modern version, the Monoblue Old School version is a bit of a mystery to me, but it seems like it's fairly similar in that we are running 4 of Stasis and lots of counter magic and 4 counter spells, 4 power sinks, and 1 mana drain. There's also some bounce effects with 4 unsummons and 4 boomerangs. However, where it gets a little bit different is the one of recall, one of reset, which I have to admit I did have to look up, which does let you untap all lands you control for 2 mana, which is very interesting, and 3 of copy artifacts to copy a bevy of very interesting artifacts. First off is Felden's Cane. We do have 1 Mox here. A Library of Language is pretty interesting tech for some of the discard options here. A 1 of Time Vault, which does make a lot of sense with those unsummons and boomerangs, and also just seems good to be able to skip your turn to not pay for stasis. 4 of Howling Mines, 4 of Ivory Towers, and then the only win con in the main deck, 4 of Black Vice. As for lands, they're all islands. In the sideboard, we have 1 of Tormod's Crypt, 3 Blue Elemental Blasts, 4 Twiddles, 4 Psychic Purge, 1 Meekstone, and 1 really cool altered City in a Bottle. That is some sweet art. This is a very cool looking list. I'm excited to see how it plays out, but before we get into the games, let's see what his opponent is playing. Next up, we have a new player to the old school format, Jerry with Blue-Red Counterburn, and I'm very familiar with this list because I'm actually the one that loaned it to him. It's not the perfect list by any means, but he had an absolute blast and has already bought most of these cards so he can play the next time there's an old school tournament. So huge welcome to him. I'm glad he's having such fun with the format. Well, it's missing a few things, including some of the power. This is a pretty standard blue-red counterburn list. You got your 4 of Orcs, you got a couple of Tims in there for some just general damage, 4 of Serendib Freets, 4 Chain Lightnings, a 1 of Time Walk. I want to call out that this is an artist altar by the original artist. While this tournament did not allow proxies, it did allow custom altars by the original artist. So if you got, say, Dan Frazier to do all the mocks as sketches, you could technically use those as your mocks in. Really cool rule and makes a lot of sense. Anyways, back to the cards. We got 4 Lightning Bolts, 1 Fireball, 1 Recall, 4 Counter Spells, 1 Mana Drain, 2 Shatters, 4 Sonic Blasts, 3 Blood Moons, 1 Soul Ring, and for the lands we have 4 City Brass, 3 Mishra's Factories, 2 Volcanic Islands. Notably not the perfect mana base. I actually don't have more than 2 Volcanic Islands currently, so we had to make do with a few extra City of Brasses. Does make the Blood Moons a bit better though. As for the sideboard, there are 4 Psych Purges, 2 Energy Flux, the 3rd Shatter, 2 Control Magics, 3 Red Elemental Blasts, and 3 Blue Elemental Blasts. Blue-Red Counterburn is definitely a staple of the format. Overall, a very fun list, very easy for new players to pick up. I do want to note that a lot of these cards are in Japanese, but Jerry promised me that he memorized what all the cards did in English beforehand. So enough of me talking your ear off, let's get into the games. And away we go. Ciao is on the left, Jerry is on the right. It looks like he's got some pretty cool looking sleeves there. Was that Chaos Confetti? I wonder if that has anything to do with the first 3 letters of that card being his name. Very cool custom cards. Or custom sleeves, I should say. Alright, looks like Ciao is going to mulligan. Jerry is going to keep. And we're just going to cut to when Ciao has a keepable 7. Alright, here we are on a mull to 5 actually. Ciao not finding any lands in his mull to 6. There we go. There's some lands. I think this is a keep no matter what. We got a copy artifact, it looks like. Got a Time Vault, maybe. Or Library of Lang. A little tough to tell. Power Sink. Okay, so we got some counter magic. We got some lands. Maybe even too many lands. Looking to put 1 back. Yep. Alright. So Jerry's going to lead us off with just an Island Go. The blue-red counter deck. Oh, there's an Ivory Tower. Again, Jerry, very new to the format, is going to be reading a lot of these cards, which is totally fine. But yeah, the blue-red counter deck definitely can play Flying Men. I opted for the Orcs over the Flying Men. Just it's a little bit more reliable form of damage. Granted, a 1/1 flyer is very good, but I don't know. I like the Orcs better. All right, Ivory Tower, not going to be triggering because Ciao did have to mulligan quite a bit. And just going to pass to Jerry. Right, island for turn. Going to attempt to play a Soul Ring. And just going to pass. Playing a little slow. Maybe wanting to hold up some kind of counter magic. There's a Boomerang for Ciao, who is also going to pass. I think both players realizing they're playing a bit more of a control game. So the first person to put down a threat is definitely going to want to have the mana to fight over it. Looks like there's a mana leak in hand for Jerry. And we're almost at the point where that ivory tower is going to start gaining life. Okay, we're going to try and shatter the ivory tower. That will resolve. Pass to Jerry's turn. Finding a lot of burn here. I don't know if he's found any creature threats. Oh, there is an Ironclad Orcs. Okay. We got an Orc. Take a point of damage from the City of Brass. Don't forget to take a point of damage from the City of Brass. Jerry, take a point of damage from the City of Brass. That still needs to make a red. Yeah. And also mana burn. Jerry, mana burn's a thing too. Okay, he's gonna animate the factory. Go to combat. Swing for 2. Okay, he remembered the floating mana and mana burn. I think his opponent Ciao being very gracious and letting him know as well. And this could be the moment that he tries to... Okay, there's a copy artifact. Gonna try and copy his opponent's Soul Ring. Okay. That is a great way to ramp, for sure. Alright, we got an Orcs. We got a factory. Swing for 4. And there's a Time Walk. It looks like we're going to try and fight over the Time Walk with a Power Sink. You're going to have to pay 2 or just counter it. Alright, well, no. Technically, Jerry should have gotten dinged for the mana burn off of the mana leak in main phase. Well, no, you could just filter it through the... Never mind, it's fine. We're just going to say that's what he did. He probably did do that. That is one of the reasons why Factory is in the deck. It does help just with any kind of mana burn. Alright, there's 2 Chain Lightnings. You're down to 4. Can you win this turn? He does have a Boomerang. He has 2 Boomerangs. I don't think there's a way to cast both, though. He does have a Stasis in hand, too. Do you just... Okay, gonna tap for 3. Nope, there's the Stasis. Okay, we're gonna give up the goat. This is what we're playing. You have 3 lands tapped. This does keep Ciao alive for another turn. Can't animate the... Well, can't swing in with the Orc either. Is there a counter spell in hand for Jerry? He does actually have the counter spell. Ooh. Alright, I think that might be game over. Alright, Ciao does have the Boomerang, though. He can bounce an Orc. He could also recall for 1. If he recalls, he's dead, though. Okay, he is recalling to get the Stasis. Tap to Jerry's turn, and yeah, you're just dead, right? Yeah, take 4. Yep. Alright, we're gonna go game number 2. And here we are in game number 2. A very frantic game number 1. Ciao, I think, not wanting to do that mulligan to 5 again, although looks like, yeah, he is going to be mulliganing here. We're going to just stick around, though, and see this whole mulligan all the way through. Jerry having, I think, that Time Walk in hand again, and I do want to call out, again, if you missed the deck tech or skipped through it, that is a artist altar by Amy Weber, or a artist sketch, I should say. And under the tournament rules for War of the Roses, anything done by the original artist qualifies for that card. So we have a player in our local group that has all of the Moxen sketched out by Dan Fraser. Super cool pieces, really rad. And that's what he uses for his power. It totally makes sense. It's the original artist doing art for the card, so it should count, right? I think it's a really rad rule. Anyways, Ciao finds a Keepable 6, starts off with a turn 1 Ivory Tower, say go. Jerry with an island, pass. Still not getting anything off that Ivory Tower. Those mulligans really eating into Chao's game plan, unfortunately. Plays out another island, so still not going to get the Ivory Tower next turn, but at least has counter magic up. I didn't see if he had a counter spell in hand. There's a Volcanic Island for Jerry. Plays out the Orcs. There's not a counter spell. There's a Boomerang. Not casting the Boomerang, passing to Chao's turn. There's another island. And just a pass. Wanting to keep some cards in hand, it looks like. Alright, we're going to get in for 2. And there's a Serendib. Don't forget to take points off of the City of Brass, Jerry. Missed that last turn, too. It wasn't relevant, but it might be. Alright, Ciao just going to play an island. Don't forget the damage that Serendib deals to you. Thank you, Ciao. Chao's on that one at least. Okay, he's gonna put a little reminder there. Yes, the card is in Italian. I didn't want to get the English green version of If Biff, the misprint. But like I said in the deck tech, Jerry promised me he looked at all of these cards. All right, there's an unsummon. So that Serendib not getting in, but you will still take 2. Unsummon a really cool card for the Stasis deck. I'm sure it's a staple. Alright, there's a Soul Ring. Play the Soul Ring out for the Serendib. Still no counter magic on Chao's side, but he did find another unsummon. He's gonna play on island this turn. That Ivory Tower is not doing much. I get it's more for late game sort of thing, but alright, there's a copy artifact. Gonna copy the Soul Ring. Ciao probably now has all the mana in the world he could ever want, and is just going to pass. Take a point off the Serendib. Alright, another island for Jerry. I think he's got Counterspell, maybe Mana Leak. Alright, we're going to try and get in for 5 again. And there's another unsummon. Is it going to resolve this time? Yes, it'll resolve. Take 2. Alright, gonna pay 3 for the Serendib. Do we time walk here? We are. Alright, is time walk good? Now Jerry will take another point off of the Serendib. Yep, remembering this time. That Orc will untap as well, yeah. Ooh, is that Psionic Blast? There's a Tim. Gonna play out the Tim? Or the Orc? Your opponent's at 9. The hits have been coming for Ciao, unfortunately just not being able to stabilize against the onslaught of efficiently costed creatures. Alright, there's a Tim. And there's an Orc. Say go. And potentially looking at lethal, yeah. Alright, taking a point off the Serendib with the Psionic Blast. Okay, we're gonna swing it with everything. Try to Boomerang the Serendib. Resolve. Take 4. Ooh, take 3, take 4, or take... yeah, yep. That's going to be lethal, and Jerry takes it down. Ciao just not able to stabilize against all of that creature threats and the burn, which is what Counterburn does, let's be honest. All right, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. You may notice that this is coming out in the middle of the week, and that's because old school videos are coming out on Wednesdays now. I'm doing 3 videos a week. Yes, that's right. We're gonna see how long we can keep that up for. Hopefully for as long as I have old school videos to cover. We have a Seattle tournament that I'm actually headed up to. Well, by the time this goes live, it'll already have happened, but that should be another good 6-7 episodes of old school content. But we still got 4 more for War of the Roses, so make sure to like and subscribe so you can find your way back here. You may have noticed as well, I've started listing the Patreons on this ending section. Thank you to all the patrons. You are amazing. If you'd like to join, there is a link in the video description below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.